Good Wednesday morning, and welcome to Ice Age TV, the internal combustion engine age YouTube channel that talks about all my cars and trucks, SUVs, dogs, my addictions, my kid, my opinion. Good morning there. Thanks for tuning in to the Ice Age TV morning conversations. I just like to get up in the morning and share my ideas and views and thoughts after I kind of look around and see what's going on. And wow, it's incredible. Up here, we have a drought. I mean, in so many ways, we have a drought. But yet, mine continues to grow. It's just incredible. I mean, it's just weird on how we are not seeing the rains. And just over the mountain from me, they're in a severe drought. Even to the point where we keep our horse out in Purcellville, Virginia. We no longer can clean our horse with the water because it's so bad. But yet here's my grass that is, would you think we're in a severe drought up here in this Northern Virginia area? Just incredible. So the grass just keeps growing, which means I guess I get to keep on cutting grass. So yeah, you're hearing the word growing. I thought to myself this morning, we got to talk about the growing conversations. Yeah, I know we haven't talked about the growing conversations. Yeah, growing pains, growing trends, all that stuff. So, got the Indian stuff on. Look at that. Indian hat, Indian shirt. I need an Indian mug. But, you know, the Indian just doesn't really make a really cool coffee mug. It's so weird. So, if you watch my channel, you'll see that last night I posted a video of me working on my Indian Pursuit Dark Horse premium package, and I was really on the page of putting my brand new exhaust on the motorcycle. But I was out yesterday in the heat most of the day, and it was hot. By the time yesterday evening set in, I just kind of went kaput. But what I did accomplish is getting my new windscreen on, which I think makes the bike look a little more sporty. And better get the dogs in, because the dogs will see somebody walking up the street and then they'll go nutty on me. So come on, pups, let's get in. And there is the Harley Davidson CVO Road Glide, which is just such a nice bike. And it's so challenging because this here, the Harley product, is such a nice product, but yet the Indian product is yet such a nice product. And they're just such, people are so wanting me to really compare this CVO Road Glide in comparison to the Indian Challenger, aka Pursuit. And they're just two different motorcycles. I mean, even though for the average person they say, but it's a motorcycle, it's two wheels. But it's just two totally different design motorcycles. I mean, first here, this is the air cooled for the most part. Now it's liquid head cooled, but it's the air cooled true beginnings of the V-twin motor from Harley, even Indian. This here is a liquid cooled motor, so it doesn't have that same type of noise. It kind of has, in some ways, a cheesy kind of noise when it starts up. The exhaust doesn't sound the same because of this naturally aspirated V-twin motor. Just gives you a throatier, deeper exhaust. This has a bigger motor. This is a 121. For me, I just have so many motorcycles. This thing I think is like 1800 cc. So how many cubic inch is that? I don't know. I don't even know. I'd have to go look it up in the manual. Just too much information. I just have too many vehicles. There's just so many different applications. Oh my gosh. But anyways, so many people are really wanting me to say, okay, what should I buy? What should I buy? And that's a growing conversation in my channel and people that I know, because I have the brand new Road Glide CVO. And I'm going to tell you straight up, if you were to compare the previous generation CVO, I would tell you instantly, all day long, this is the better package, the nicer bike. Now with this new CVO that has totally grown on me, I just can't say that anymore. I mean, the biggest thing about this CVO Harley product is it's heavy. It's heavy off the stand. It's a heavier feeling motorcycle than this motorcycle. This is a more refined, borderline, the Honda Goldwing, the BMW type of feel motorcycle. This is the true, blood, sweat, and tears of the Harley days of just a good old lead sled, true Harley vibration, nothing radical, but it's just a true, continued, better Harley product, but it still has the quirks of it being heavier, feeling heavier, and the vibration in the bike, nothing radical, and just kind of the Harley tradition. But like I said, if you look at the quality, if you look at the handlebars, I should say the grips, the controls, and just the whole motorcycle, the fit and finish, the Harley has it over this Indian. Indian has a nice product, nice fit and finish to a degree. As I've mentioned before, you have these big gaps in here. These controls just look cheap. The handles. Now keep in mind that this is a $33,000 motorcycle. That's a $43,000 motorcycle. So there's a 10 grand difference. So you should have a lot more aesthetic, nicer stuff here. This has a heel shifter included in the purchase of the bike. Usually they don't even do that. This doesn't have a heel shifter. But this is a tour pack bike, so take it down a notch and take away the tour pack to compare the Challenger to the CVO. That's the best comparison. But you know what? I don't know if I can even really compare that with the Challenger Elite, because one of my new friends, Chris, and his wife Shannon, who we went riding our motorcycles, has informed me that the Challenger Elite, which I own, is the only package that has electronic suspension, where you can adjust the settings on the motorcycle for electronically to make it stiffer or softer. I thought that any Challenger in an upgraded package has that. He claims no, only your Challenger Elite offered that package. I'm turning on my right now just to show you, and look at here. See, here's my windscreen, which there. See, the Harley Davidson doesn't have that. I mean, that really is a nice feature for you to have the sport feel of putting around town, the open air in your face, or you get on the open highway and you want that wind off your face and body. So if you go here, let's see here if we can go into the settings. I don't even know where it's going to be. Okay, so see here is your here it is. So here am I at two people, one people, luggage, more luggage, no luggage, the fine tune on suspension, plus, minus. Okay, so the Harley Davidson doesn't have this feature. All right, what the Harley Davidson has over here is it has the sport. So you have the rain mode, which that motorcycle now has that. It has the standard or tour, that motorcycle now has that. It has a sport, that motorcycle now has it. So in that aspect, Harley Davidson has stepped it up, but it does not have the electronic suspension. Of course, this has the heated grips and the heated seat. That motorcycle there doesn't. But if you got the CVO Tour package, you would probably have you would have then most likely the heated seat as well, and you'd have probably the lowers. So on the Indian Challenger, you don't have the lowers, you don't have the Tour pack, and you don't have electronic suspension, which once again, that's all new news to me. So, wow, for me, I would honestly say that if you're a true Harley person, that the CVO, as long as you have the money isn't a factor. I think you're going to be happier on this product than that product over there. If you're not the real Harley person, then I think you're going to like the Indian product because of the value to what you get out of the motorcycle for the price and the fun, the confidence. This bike is definitely feels a little bit more balanced, more nimble, easier off the kickstand. This here is just the continuation of the Harley, I call it the lead sled type of feel. So I hope anybody watching my channel can maybe be more in tune with what maybe fits the seat of your pants. And once again, if you're just a Harley person, I think you're probably going to stay with the new Harley CVO because they did refine it. It really is nice. And once again, you take a 30% hit right out of the gate because that's the markup on these motorcycles. And so I told my friend Chris yesterday, he's like, do I get a Road Glide, or do I get CVO Road Glide, or do I get the Indian Challenger? I'm like, well, if you think about it, if you're spending $43,000, a 33% or 30% loss on that bike over time would be $13,000. You buy the Indian Challenger, it's a $30,000 motorcycle. It's going to be a $10,000 loss. So a $3,000 separation in loss of your value of your motorcycle. All right. The Harley-Davidson CVO Road Glide definitely has grown on me. And as I say, it's very challenging for me just to say, wow, you know. But once again, I think the Harley radiates more of a quality to it than the Indian does. But the Indian's a great looking bike. Oh, it's always the challenges, right? I got to get in my office. Got to get up here and continue the morning conversations. I'd just like to talk about my motorcycles. And my next project is the exhaust, hopefully this evening, and the highway pegs. Need to put highway pegs on that. It just doesn't end. And I'm going to get in the office, and I already timed out to get in the office. So let's get up here, pups. Come on. And it's going to be another really hot day as we get up the stairs here. And another exciting news, which is kind of too bad, is my ordered Slingshot. I didn't order it, but a dealer that stocks Slingshots put a Roush Edition Slingshot order in with a manual transmission. And if you watch my channel, you see that I went out of my way to sell my two Indians to open up the possibility of me buying a Slingshot, even though I know a lot of people think, like, I wouldn't get the Slingshot. It's just me. I like to, I like to just have different rides, different experiences, get my fans on, because it is hot. But it isn't radical. It's not like that Florida humidity up here. Thank God it's hot, but it's not that just killer humidity. It just sucks everything out of you. So, anyway, so Slingshot that a dealer ordered, they gave me for $100 non-refundable deposit the opportunity to buy this bike, and they actually discount this unit. And so yesterday I got the phone call that unit came in and come get it. And I'm like, well, since I've gone and bought so much stuff lately, oh my gosh, my credit score is going down. Just way too many toys, and even to the point, I mean, with those two new motorcycles, is that 18 purchases this year? 19? I don't even know. I think I'm probably within reason. Yeah, talking about growing, the growing of my shop, the growing of my addictions. If you go from last year to this year, I'm at close to 50 purchases of buying cars, trucks, motorcycles. Oh my gosh. I mean, just wow. Talk about growing into debt like never seen before in my lifetime. Yeah, so anyways, so instantly I was like, you know what? This dealership deals with only two banks, and for the most part, these two banks usually don't give me credit per se. And so I already know the one bank's already rejected the deal, which doesn't surprise me. And the other bank, they're going to do the deal this morning. So I'm not going to. So it looks like for me, I've got mixed feelings. I mean, I think it'd be cool for me to get the Slingshot because I really like that Roush Edition. It'd just be neat to have it. But I was kind of on the page of, a few weekends ago, was to get rid of my Indians to open the door up for me to buy the Slingshot. And so that all went south. And so now what do I have? And I get it. The Slingshot, even though it's a motorcycle, it's not a motorcycle. So it's a growing product trying to guess. And that's our thing as I'm talking about. So getting back to the growing aspect of what seems to be a common thing we hear a lot is just the growing trend of just so many things going on around us and amongst us. And a lot of that growing, I don't think most of us even like. But what the growing intrigued me. This conversation was intrigued by me reading this morning on Bloomberg News that they're predicting that we're going to see, like in the third quarter to fourth quarter, a 5.6% growth in this country. I mean, I'm not the economic expert by any means, but I'm just sharing with you what I'm reading in Bloomberg News, and even I'm shaking my head like, wait a second, why aren't we using like 2%, maybe 3% growth? And they're talking like a 5.6% growth on the economy. That this economy is just not stepping back. And at the Fed right now is at 5.6% interest on the Fed's rate, which then equates to like 7 to 9 to 20% interest on your rate, depending on what you're buying, what you're doing. But they're talking about how the resilience of this economy is incredible. That the people are not, the economic numbers are showing from like the June, July, that they're incredibly strong. That people are not financially in dire straits or hurting, even though you watch all these YouTube channels and you hear nothing but how many people are going broke and how the dire straits of this country to be in a recession like never seen is upon our doorstep. But yet here's the Fed saying, nope, the economy's actually going along to the point that now they're saying that the talk of cutting any rate on the Fed rate next year is now kind of starting to come off the table. That they see that this economy just won't slow down. I'm thinking, wow. So the economy is growing. I mean, and I'm out in the field. I see all the houses being built. I see all the buildings being built. I see all the people out and about spending money. So, I mean, when I'm in Tennessee, oh my God, Tennessee, that area in Johnson City, Bristol area has exploded. It's exploded. It's to me, it's a bummer. Because that's such a rural, nice area down there, but it's being overtaken by everybody moving there. Tampa, Florida, the Florida area, it's been ruined. The growth down there is just, it's borderline catastrophic. It's beyond unbelievable how much growth is down there. So when I drive around, I travel, I am not seeing the boarded up buildings and the vacant properties and a for sale sign on every corner of every property. You don't see any of this. And the car dealerships, for the most part, are spartan on inventory. So it's like, and then you go to these motorcycle dealerships, wherever I go, there's 5 other people standing there wanting to buy a motorcycle. So then you go to the boat marinas, you're in line to get a slip to be able to put your boat in the water. That's all over the place. And I'm sure somebody say, yeah, but it's changing. Yeah, okay, I've heard that for the last 3 years. I've heard for the last 3+ years that it's all changed and it's going to go south. Hasn't happened. Everything is growing in every aspect of life, growing. And that's what I thought about Indian. Indian's growth this year is 39%. The Indian motorcycle sales are up 39%. It's a known fact. If you want an Indian Pursuit premium package like I have, good luck. Try to find one. And when you do find one, good luck. Suck it up, buttercup, because if you think you're going to negotiate a deal, dealers are like, nope, no deal. There is no deal. We can't get these things. People want them. Here's the price. Go on and buy it. If you don't, not a big deal. Next guy wants it. Yeah, it sounds arrogant, but it's the facts. Look it up. Do your research. Go to Cycle Trader. Go to different Indian dealers. Look for a brand new Indian Pursuit premium package. See how many they have. And if they have one, call them and say, can you give me a huge discount? So, yeah, and in fact, even the point that Indian has trade-in offers of up to $1,500, $2,000. But guess what? The Indian Pursuit is not included in that trade-in program. Oh, and guess what? The Indian Chief is included in that program, but if you buy the Sport Chief, it's not included in that program. So for me, if I would have bought the non-Pursuit Indian product or the non-Chief Bobber or the Sport Chief product, so many names to the Chief, I would have had $3,000 more to bring to the table, if not $4,000 more to bring to the table. Because Indian is observing trade-in values to move their slower, moving product, which okay, but you just heard me say that Indian's saying their sales overall are up 39%. Wow. I mean, and then here I'm reading about Berkshire Hathaway with Warren Buffett, who has heavy investment in BYD in China. BYD is Build Your Dream Manufacturing, electric vehicles. They have the hybrid vehicles as well, but in China, they have seen an 87% growth this year. They're selling over 350,000 cars a month worldwide now. Okay, and get this. Tesla's growth out of China with Elon Musk setting up shop in Shanghai, China, he has now made China the biggest exporter of EV vehicles in the world, because that's the number one selling product right now is the Tesla product. BYD has now overtaken Volkswagen on annual sales of the Chinese market that used to be dominated by the Volkswagen brand. What's interesting is the growth of the EV vehicle trend for the European, or German, I should say more the German manufacturers, they're behind. The BMW, Mercedes brands, they are behind in Volkswagen to a degree as well. So BYD, they have their own in-house battery capability, build their own batteries. Their margins have grown substantially this year. Their growth and projections is through the roof. And you can only imagine that BYD is going to be on our doorstep in this country, I'm sure, sooner than you realize. And that's a whole nother ball game, that these big three auto are so concerned about the growth of this UAW I've been talking about since last week. The Sean Feen position is their workers need to grow into better jobs. They need to grow into better incomes. They need to grow into better hours. They need to grow into better pensions and health care. They want a better growth package for the UAW. Meanwhile, GM, Ford, and Stellantis, their concern is the growth of Tesla and the growth of BYD and other Chinese manufacturers that are starting to populate in the world car markets is going to be a huge challenge for them to compete with them at the same level, with a very, with their hands tied to the UAW of creating even higher wages and higher compensation, the whole package. But I think to myself, here in our country, I did the same thing this morning. I looked up the Ford Mustang Mach-E, and I should write it down, but the Ford Mustang Mach-E, 100-mile radius, 561 Mustang Mach-E's. 100-mile radius for the Ford Lightning truck. This is all brand new, not used, just new, roughly 100 vehicles. So you just see it yourself. So the growing trend in China of the EV market is huge. The growing trend in Europe for the EV market in so many ways is huge. But in our own country, stateside, it's not. The growth of the electric vehicle is not by any means growing at the pace that is overseas. And there's lots of variables to that. I mean, one thing is, for the most part, we've had cheaper fuel here stateside than Europe has, for the most part. But here's the thing. What's growing? The barrel of oil's price is growing. The barrel of oil is going to be back to $90 a barrel because Saudi Arabia and Russia just closed the door on no more inventory increases for the rest of the year. And so now the speculators are seeing that the markets are going to be tight on supply, and for you and I, we're going to pay for the Saudi and Russia trying to control the market, the fuel market. So your growing bill to drive around your vehicle is going to continue to grow, and your growing expenses is going to continue. I mean, what's the basics of our life? It's your food, right? I mean, if you think about life, what's all of our goal in our life? All of our goal is you have money to be able to buy food. You have money to have shelter, and you have money for transportation. I mean, there's the basics of life. And yet those are the biggest things that right now, in the last 3 years, we have witnessed more than ever grow at the fastest pace ever, is for you to be able to buy food. It has grown substantially more expensive. For you to have the capability to have shelter has grown substantially. For you to get around has grown substantially. So it's just incredible on how. But for you as an individual, has your job, has your wages grown substantially? as much as everything else I just mentioned. And I would have to say probably not. I just can't see in how these, increase in these cars, an increase in fuel, and the list goes on and on and on. And now, so the growing concern now is that the student loan debt is coming back, being that it's been on a 3.5 year hiatus, however you pronounce the damn thing. Basically, the college payments for your loans has been put on hold from the pandemic, but this October it's supposed to be reinstated, and people will start paying their loans again on their student loans. And there's a big concern that this is going to take a lot of money out of the market. But then at the same time, I just told you, the Fed is predicting a 5.6% growth rate in this country, not seen in modern times. It's just incredible growth that it's right here happening as I sit here and talk to you. Wow. And here's Joe Biden saying yesterday that he's fighting to help these people that have this straddled college debt, to eliminate these debts, to create a better future for the future of college. And I just thought, is that a contradictory statement or what? So Joe Biden makes a statement that on the one hand, he's going to help all these people that took loans out, to tell all these finance companies that, I ain't paying the debt and I'm done. I'm not paying it. And on the other hand, Joe Biden's, commending that this is a great thing for him to accomplish if he can pull it off, to eliminate all this student loan debt, but it's going to create a better future for colleges. And I'm thinking, well, their message to the people is it's not worth spending money to go to college. So are you saying then that college is going to be free? Are you saying now that all these really wealthy to do universities are going to open the door of no more tuition? I mean, it's just the growing scratch your head with the people in power in this country who doesn't just really just continue to think to yourself, it's like, did I just hear that? Did I just witness that? Did I just see that? I mean, the growing trend of the wackiness is beyond believable. It's just incredible of what we're witnessing. Yeah, the growing trend of just the wackies is growing by leaps and bounds. I mean, we have a growing immigration problem like never seen in modern times in this country. That if you look around, you see it. That even the point that the Airbnb in New York is being shut down. Have you heard about how New York is shutting down? If you're an individual that has a house, let's just say you have 5 houses, and the one of them is for your actually shelter to live, and the other 4 the Airbnb, New York State's going to take that away from you. Because their position is, you're the problem. You're creating the problem of the housing shortage. That you've created a problem of the more expensive housing, and you got to give that business model of your business that you're making your monies off of, it has to go bye-bye. Wow. I mean, I have never looked that deep into any of this I'm talking to you about. I'm just taking assumptions. Anybody out there watching my channel could clarify this and say, no, you're not correct on that. But just from the little gist of what I've read, instantly I came to closure. Yeah, New York State is going to take control of the housing market. I mean, there's so many people out there that are claiming that over the next 10 years, 60% of the housing market will be controlled and owned by the big guys, and the majority of people won't own a home anymore. You'll have the payment plan for life. It's a growing trend. And that's a whole EV thing. You just know that the whole EV thing's going to be the payment plan. That's where it's going to go. They can't sell these cars at Ford. Ford has these overpriced Ford Mustang Mach-E's, which ask me how I know. Ford has this overpriced Ford F-150 Lightning. Ask me how I know. I have these Lightning vehicles, these electric vehicles I bought from Ford a year ago that I'm buried in them. These things are worth $20,000, $30,000 less than I paid for them. So I'm buried. These are the biggest, worst mistakes I've made in recent times. The kid. No, nobody here. It's the biggest mistake I've made in recent times of buying a vehicle and just seeing a huge loss on the value. And here's the thing. People say, well, the barrel of oil goes to 120, you have $6 gas, your electric vehicles will probably have value again. I'm not so sure of that, because the ongoing trend of the competition to force others to lower the price of EV vehicles is growing. So the EV vehicles are getting less expensive. That's what Elon Musk is doing. He's just cutting out, chopping up cars, taking things out, this and that, to make his car be less expensive. So his growing trend, what is Elon Musk's growing trend besides now? He's suing the ADL. He's going to sue George Soros. So like I said, just watch. Elon Musk is going to be the next big punching bag. Once they can get this guy Trump put in jail forever, then Elon Musk is the next guy that gets, this guy Vivek Ramaswamy, whatever you call him, he apparently has now his anti-green agenda foundation, apparently now has like $1 billion or some incredible amount of money that his so-called, he's against all this the woke movement, the green agenda movement. He's totally opposite. And his company that he has founded, like I've told you before, the Green Agenda Foundation is out there to have billions of dollars to go fight you and I to shut us down. His company is just all of a sudden blossomed and has tons of money to start fighting these other green agenda things. They're so incredible. I talked about this years ago. I used to talk about this years ago. What foundation is out there to challenge all this green agenda? The growing trend of everybody knows what's going to play out tomorrow. The growing trend more than ever. We live in a society where people become scientists and doctors overnight. I mean, it's incredible how many people just become these incredibly smart individuals that know all the answers for tomorrow, and there you go. And so I've been always saying, who's going to challenge these continued conversations, these people that manhandle these major companies and force them to toe heel to their views and ideology? When is that going to stop? Who's going to stop it? And for the most part, if you don't have all the money in the world to go fight these people and the right connections, you just don't get very far. You're not going to get anywhere. I'll tell you what, anymore, if you watch these videos, you watch these cop videos. I mean, I rarely ever watch them, but oh my gosh, talk about borderline entertainment and give you a headache when you see these cops that pull people over and these people just go radical. And oh my gosh, have you seen, is that a growing trend? Are we seeing in our society more than ever a growing trend of the total disrespect for law in our society? And I mean, I would have to say, yeah. When you see all of these videos of people going to the shop, going to the to Home Depot or whatever major retailer, and they just grab all their goodies and walk out the door, and then somebody out in the parking lot tries to confront them, and it turns into a big fight, or nobody does anything, they just walk away. I mean, so the growing trend of the lawless society, more than ever, under this current sitting administration's policies and guidelines. And yet there's so many people, the growing trend seems to be for so many to fight for this administration's views and ideologies and practices that you just scratch your head. But here the thing is, the economy, per the Fed, is just blasting like never seen. And there's just not really any gloom and doom of anything to change it anytime soon. So you out there continuing to think that this economy is going to go bust, yeah, well, turn on other YouTubers. They'll tell you all day long it's over. Car dealerships are broke. And I've said it so many times, it's old, right? All right, hey, I got to get going. That's what I got to do. I got to get going just like you. You got to get going because you've had enough of me talking. And some of my subscribers are like, oh my gosh, I want to see the motorcycle ride and then the Julia ride and this and that and doing that. I'm like, yeah, me too. I'd love to be able to do that. But the reality is we all have to have a job and have to go to work. And the other reality is, who wants to really even hear all what's going on around us? And I think if we talk more amongst ourselves what's going around us and let people know it's just not acceptable, then maybe your neighbor will just start to second guess that person thinks that everybody thinks like they do, because that's where we are. Some of these people think that, all these craziness, the growing craziness is okay. It's okay. It's the new hip thing, and I'm going to do the same thing. And that's the danger of it. It just feeds off of one individual to another that just then makes it feel like, yeah, what's the big deal? I can go to the store and steal things. I can go to the store and beat somebody up. What's the big deal? Ain't nobody do nothing to me. That's where we are. The growing trend of disrespect like never ever seen. Wow. Anyway, I'm leaving. I'm going. I got to go ride around a vehicle all day. That's what I do. If I'm out here in front of this, I'm out driving. So, hey, thanks for watching my channel. Appreciate all the nice comments and support. I hope everybody has a great, blessed day. So stay safe, stay tuned, and see you later.